Hello and welcome to the Tech Bytes audiocast. My name's Tim and I'm from the Oak Bytes blogazine, and with me is Dr. Roy Shestowitz from the Tech Rights website.
It's Friday night and I'm gonna get sauce. I fought the troll and the troll lost. I fought the troll and the troll lost. He tried to boss me and was outbossed. I fought the troll and the troll lost. I fought the troll and the troll lost. Underneath his Freeper Bridge, hoping goats will cross. Quoting Ashcroft and Tom Ridge.
Right, hello and welcome to episode 33 of the Tech Bytes audiocast. It's Sunday, March the 6th, 2011. And hello and welcome back, everybody. I apologise profusely for the delay that there's been since the last episode. I'd like to pass on some of the blame to Roy and Gordon, but they're not responsible. It's completely my fault. One of the disadvantages of living in a small village probably is that we don't get seen as a priority when there's net connections and faults online. So unfortunately, I've had to wait about a week, and now I'm back up online and we're back in full force. So it's myself, Gordon and Roy, and we're going to do the show today and hopefully compress it within about an hour, because Roy has kindly put on hold his life for a couple of hours just to get the show out. Roy's currently in the process of moving, so it's greatly appreciated that he's doing this and doing a show tonight. So without further ado, we'll crack straight on. Roy, I believe you're going to start us off with the first topic of the day.
Yeah, we have several interesting ones. I'm trying to choose the topics which are of, well, you know, we could actually cover the very mundane things, but I think that touching on the issues which are seen as controversial, things which need resolving in some ways, tend to create more interest in general, and quite rightly so. One of the most major stories the past week was about Ubuntu. Specifically about the situation with Banshee. Now, as you probably know, Banshee is based on Mono. It uses specific libraries which are problematic from a patent point of view, and it's being developed by Novell staff. What they've done, in my opinion, is they kind of trapped Ubuntu. They got Ubuntu to finally put it by default as part of the distribution. And eventually, the whole thing just basically blew up in Ubuntu's face, or in Canonical's face, causing lots of trouble now. Quite a few people, even people from within the community, are moving to Fedora and mostly denouncing Canonical, not actually Ubuntu, because they do try to distinguish between people who work voluntarily in the actual company, which is the patron of the whole thing. That's been a major issue. I was hoping we can talk about that, and if you don't really know I suppose Tim hasn't been following the news recently. But one other thing we might as well talk about is the pending acquisition of Novell. That's supposed to be taking place in about a week, I think. But the antitrust authorities seem to be in a position to block the thing. They also appear to be responding to the situation with the MPGLA. The whole situation to do with proprietary codecs, which are usually proprietary, obviously encumbered by patents, and you're supposed to pay some cartel, which is backed by Apple and Microsoft, of course, because they would like the web to be polluted by things which require you to buy some proprietary type of license to just access your videos, even things like YouTube, or using things like Flash, which contain these codecs. That's been challenged by the U.S. Department of Justice, which is extremely important. It's one of those barriers that you have remaining for the Linux desktop. It's one of the reasons Red Hat had to serve reportedly the reason Red Hat is not doing desktops is because they do have these barriers when it comes to video codecs and all kinds of patents in the way. So that's an interesting topic. I wonder what kind of stories have you had in mind in terms of coverage?
Well, I mean, I've had a passing interest with the recent actions by Sony. It's a double-edged sword, really, because on one hand, I was saying before, I champion Sony products. I think they're great products, which puts me in a bit of a funny position when talking about actions which I deem as I recently quoted myself here, as despicable. Sony recently has continued its actions in regards to the root key issue and the hacking of the PlayStation 3 console, and in doing so it received or achieved a subpoena to get the details, the IP addresses of everybody who's visited a particular website which was responsible for the distribution of this PlayStation 3 hack. That was one of the topics that I was just going to briefly mention. It's been widely covered in the press. I think most people now have got an understanding about how seriously Sony's taking this issue, but it does pose another couple of questions. Firstly, when PS3 users had their Linux option removed, for those that don't know, there used to be an option for the PS3 to install another operating system on. Very, very handy. There was a specific Linux distribution for the PS3, and effectively you could get rid of your desktop machine because the PS3 takes a keyboard, and you could use your PS3 for not only your normal gaming, but as a desktop machine as well if you wished, all in the comfort of your living room or wherever your big LCD television is. That was removed, and they cited security issues for that. Now, I believe those security issues were piracy, in quotes, related. But now, as the root key is being released to the public and actually been released by Sony themselves as well, albeit unintentionally, when one of their bots retweeted a message which had the root key in it. It just seems now that would be a very good time to bring back the option of installing another operating system onto the PS3 console. That's up in the air. We'll wait and see what happens there. But in the meantime, Sony's taking this whole issue very, very seriously. It's looking at the IP addresses of everybody who's accessed this particular site, GeoHot site, that was the handle of the chap who cracked the PS3. Also, I believe responsible for the jailbreaking of the iPhone. So this is a very intelligent chap. Certainly not a criminal, but if you read the press, and certainly the mainstream press, you'd be forgiven if you would get that impression, because it looks like he's being treated very much like a criminal, when all he's really done is taken a product that he owns and reverse engineered it and produced a hack. So that was that side of things. Then on the other side of the coin, you have a dispute now between LG and Sony. Now this has got something to do with the grey imports, I believe, of the PlayStation 3 consoles, and some sort of patent dispute. I haven't looked fully into this. I'm hoping Roy or Gordon might have a little bit more information on this, but from what I can gather, the argument has started up over the importing of American or Japanese PS3s to the UK. I don't know if any of you two know.
I'm not sure it had anything to do with the grey market, unless you can expand that. I was under the impression it had only something to do with patents.
Because as I read it, and I'm going to have to find the link here, because I wasn't intending on mentioning this today, but as I read it, they were holding, seizing or preventing the sale of such machines in the UK until this matter was resolved.
Yeah, that usually happens when, well, in the US they have the ITC, was it? Yeah, I think Trade Commission. Basically, they can impose an embargo on competition. They have different words for it, and they try to make it sound more gentle by saying something like import bans, or they have sanctions or whatever. Just euphemisms, basically, for embargoing a company's product. And it's a way of trying to make the defendant in this case Sony, basically surrender to the demands, in this case LG, perhaps pay them some royalties or something, and trying to put pressure on them, strain that's financial strain in principle. It's a very despicable thing, and it's a very controversial thing when it's being done in the United States. With phones, it happens quite a bit. When the ITC is being contacted by companies like Apple or Microsoft, and they try to ban your imports and basically trying to take away your lifeline until you do as they please. Needless to say, while this is happening, if you go to court, it can take about a year to resolve, and they can just appeal, and it just takes on forever. And while this is happening, your product is basically banned.
You know what I would like to see, the American, the IPC, whatever court it is, whatever body it is, who they're appealing to get stuff banned for patent violations. I would love to see them come out with a statement that says, an announcement, make it fully public and show on all the news networks and all that, a statement that says, we've had applications from all of these cell phone vendors, Sony, from Apple, from HTC, from Microsoft, from Samsung, you name it, the full list, who have been petitioning them over patent claims.